probably didn't all speak the same language.
You mean back then?
Yes,
and
even back then.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, you know, we have been put in nation states that have pushed everybody together, and then a language that was imposed that is coming from the outside. So I think it affects the way we think. It affects the way we dream. It affects the way what we read. You know, it affects the authors that are presented to us. It affects the media that we see. Because I think, I don't know if the people in the audience follow news in other African countries, but I think it mostly comes to you through BBC Africa and not through a Pan-African station that we all follow and that we love and that we support. So it's about all those structures that we're still in, even though it's called different, even though there's independence. What type of independence are we really talking about? You know, the biggest company here is Shell, Dutch, British. Yeah. So I think those structures have just changed faces and become multinationals, but they're not very different from before, if you ask me. There's an author here in the audience who's written a book called Heineken in Africa. Heineken is a Dutch company. It's very influential on this continent. So we need to look at those things. We need to look at our leaders. And when I say our, I sometimes feel weird talking about this because I live in Europe. You know, I live in the Netherlands, even though I was born in Ethiopia. So sometimes I feel like, is it my place? This is actually the thing that the professor was talking about. Who is the African, right? Yeah, I feel like I said in the beginning, I feel like there's so much to protect. There's so much to preserve, and I think we need everybody on the globe to do that, to feel like we have a unified force to do something. You know, this festival is an example where we can have conversations, we can ask tough questions, we can get to know each other. I think that's all helpful, but I think we need to understand that we're doing this in this structure. That needs to change.
I mean, I think two things occurred to me. One is that we tend to forget the divisions which existed historically. If one goes into the Haitian Revolution, there were all kinds of divisions. If one looks at the anti-colonial struggle, for example, anywhere in Africa, all these differences and divisions which we're discussing, they existed during that period and so on. But people still managed to organize themselves to overcome these divisions, to advance their interests and so on. So, in one sense, Pan-Africanism is just a recognition of the importance of uniting in order to advance people's interests, advance their struggle for liberation and so on. And in fact, many of those struggles in Africa, which were most successful, involved organizations and politics which